YouTube. It's time to talk about relationships. Does my partner and I, do we need to sit in front of a counselor? Do we need to sit in front of a counselor? That's a yes and no question. I think now, especially amongst us black people, that therapy has become very fashionable. It's almost a fashion statement. Oh, I go see a therapist. I go see my counselor. It's like a soft flex. And I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, just say, yo, Jay, you wrong. But before I go on, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more notifications on content. Hit the bell notifications for more content, or it notifies you when I'm posting something new. And also, whether I'm right or wrong, leave a comment in the comment section. Hit me with a thumbs up or a thumbs down. I really, really appreciate it. But back to the question at hand. Does my partner and I, do we need to sit in front of a counselor? That's a yes or a no question. This is my second marriage, and we opened the doors up with getting counseling. We did, and you'll hear this. I'm 47. You guys probably know my age like the back of your hand by now. But we opened the door with counseling, and my experience was a good experience. It was really good. There were a couple issues that were brought to surface, a couple of issues, but I noticed that for some reason in counseling, either one partner is like, yeah, and the other partner was like, and the other partner's left feeling disgruntled. Because you have a third person telling you, hey, you're wrong, or hey, you're right. You have a mediator. You have a referee. You have a referee. You don't have a problem solver. You have a person that's suggesting healthy methods. Healthy methods. Sometimes it's needed, sometimes it's not. I think our counseling session was at $100 a pop. It was at $100 a pop. Every time we turned the screen on, there's $120. I'm sorry, it's $120. And that was $120 per session. And I respect the office of a counselor. My background, I went to school for psychology, Christian theology. And family counseling. That is what pastor or the bosoming pastor Joshua Blair, that is what I went to school for. So a lot of the methods that were practiced, I was well versed with. I was well versed with how to communicate. Counseling was not new to me. Again, I believe this is something that has become very fashionable in the black community. Number one, because it involves money. You know, and a lot of times, a lot of us are making more money. I had counseling as a child. I experienced a lot of child trauma. I had counseling, paid for counseling. A lot of those counseling sessions, my mother and my father were left yelling at each other. Oh, you like her legs, blah, 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 blah. It did not solve anything. My help actually came from my actual parents who weren't paid counselors working with me. Let me say that right there. You have, I can't even tell you when I say that I was the baddest child. You guys can't see it now because I blossomed. But I had my parents helping. There was a lot of family devotion. There was a lot of prayers. There was a lot of maturing on my part that had to take place. And a lot of that maturing actually came from when I got out of the house and experienced the world on my own. Here I am, 47. How does my spouse and I handle issues? I have discussions. A lot of women may say you have this new term called emotional intelligence. We have new terms, social, emotional learning. Those are all new age terms. It's just that I can say this if my wife is listening. There was one time where, and she was coming at me after I was apologizing, blah, blah, blah. And I said, shut the front door up. I boom. And I promised her, and this channel is all about sometimes being transparent. And I didn't understand when that came out my mouth, because I've never exploded like that, So here I am, a victim of previous traumas, and now I'm being introduced to a new wife, and she's not as quiet as the other one was, and she brought it. And side note, I tell women all along, I don't care if this sounds misogynistic, that don't go back and forth with a man. Don't go back and forth with a man. Men, don't go back and forth with a woman. I don't care how this sounds, because a man going back and forth with a woman is like two women going back and forth with each other. A woman that's constantly coming at her man, constantly replying, blah, 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 that's male energy. You both start to exhibit the opposite sex's energy, and you get those responses by nature. Men don't even go back and forth with themselves because somebody's gonna get punched. Women, I don't see women going back and forth with themselves because some hair is gonna get pulled. So as soon as I displayed that behavior one time, I said, you will never catch me do that again, because I never want anybody to get me to the point where I'm telling them or being disrespectful to them. I lost my cool. And again, if she's watching this, and to the world that is watching this, forgive me, I am sorry as a man. And I did tell her that in counseling. There's no excuse for that. But other than that episode, other than that episode, how do we make it without a counselor? We have healthy forms of communication. I understood from that first explosion, this makes you go bang. She probably understood too, I can't go back and forth with him because he'll go bang. The Bible tells a woman that a soft answer turneth away wrath. And it also on the same hand tells men to love their husbands. I mean, not That's funny. That should be a blooper. If I had moderators and editors, I'll say re-edit that, but I'm not that far yet. It says men love your wives. That means treat her with kindness, treat her with gentleness. Don't tell her to close the front door or shut the front door. But we have now, I believe, healthy forms of communication. It's like if I need to address something, I heard it on, what show was that? A show called Tonight's Conversation, something like that, where a man was saying, hey, there's an issue of bringing up something 2 weeks out, two weeks after it happened. And my thing is, no. If there is something that is making you feel some type of way, you address that issue immediately. Now, I'm not saying addressing in anger. Check yourself, check your feelings, and make sure that your presentation is going to be professional enough with your spouse that the message is going to be received. Now, has there been a time where my presentation was harsh? Yes, there was. And that's not my story to tell. That's my wife's story to tell. It's something that basically I felt that I was slighted and I had to put my foot down. That lion had to roar. A little rumble had to take place too. It wasn't disrespectful. It wasn't disrespectful. It wasn't on the shut the front door level, but it was on the level of, hey, I mean business. I mean the business of us having a healthy marriage. If this continues to happen, this is not good. And she'll tell you. She'll be on the show. She'll be like, yeah, he if something bothering him, he'll say, we need to have a discussion. And it's not. I'll sometimes ask her. I say, do I shout? She's like, no, you don't shout. You have a discussion. It's not a red table talk kind of Will and Jada discussion, but it's like we need to sit down and talk about some things. It's very, very grown man discussion. Come on. I hate when these cars do this. Turn. You got the right of way. But we have a discussion. And I do ask can I have a yes or no? I ask, I'm very, very outspoken. Hey, do you understand? And it's not talking condescending, because my spouse, if I happened to do something to her that warranted a discussion, I would expect her to say, hey, are we clear? Do I make myself clear? I see you liking all these Instagram models, and I see you having all of these I don't even know their last name. Muniz. I don't know why the address don't pop up. 3417 Jewel Lake service provider. Yeah. It's like if I did something to offend her, and she needed to have a discussion with me, yeah, sit down and check my ASS. You don't gotta cuss me out. But that's the beautiful part of marriage. That's the hey, dude, are we making ourselves clear? It's not disrespectful. It's a question, because if I say, well, no, you're not making yourself clear, we're going to continue. Well, do I need to revisit this or when do we need to, what part do you need clarification on? These are having adult conversations. Now, if all fails, if all forms of professional communication is failing and one partner is not listening, then it is time to say we need to see a counselor, because the methods of communication that we are using, it's not working. That is when, because keep this in mind, you got to pay every time you sit down in front of that counselor, and if everything is hunky-dory, everything is fine, well, how's the weather out there? The weather's good, and how's your dog? And you paying $100 just to talk about that? Nah. Save you the money. I'm the counselor that says, hey, call me when you guys need me. And I need to know at that same time what you have been practicing. What have you guys been doing in your relationship? Have your initial meet with the counselor. Have your initial meet. It's kind of like you going to the dentist. Have your initial meet with the counselor. Build a relationship. Any problems? No. Peace. I will see you guys. Let me know when you need me. But to be going just for, hey, how you doing? Well, everything's good. The weather's good. Fine. Blah, blah, blah. I think one time our counselor was even, my wife and I, we had resolved the issue, and she actually went back to my wife. Well, how did that make you feel at that time that Joshua told you to shut the front door and do? And I'm thinking to myself, I said, why are we going back rehashing these things? Because sometimes when you open or you rehash things, those same emotions will present themselves. And I was like, there's no need for that. That's not, it should be like, did you guys resolve this? Yes. Okay. Were there any issues? No. Okay. Any questions? No. Okay. You guys are basically practicing good communication, at this time. I've done my job. Okay. I'll see you guys again whenever I need you or need to see you. And then at the same time, if I were a counselor, even though you're not paying me or keeping me on payroll, I'll follow up. Hey, how you guys doing? Oh, we doing good. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm still here. So is counseling always needed on an ongoing basis? No. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. And if you have any helpful recommendations or helpful tips on communication or how you and your partner, how you guys do it, hey, I'd like to know. Peace.